Happy Michael Myers Monday! All right, light up those pumpkins, everybody, because we are live. It is Monday night. Let's see who else is alive and awake out there tonight. Happy Michael Myers Monday, everybody. Welcome to it. If you're new here, my name, excuse me. Let me turn down my phone. Welcome to it, everybody. If you're new here, my name is Matt. We are Halloween Daily News, and this little H45 after party that you happen to find yourself in the middle of this evening is what we call Michael Myers Monday Live. So welcome if you're new, and you are joining the greatest community of fans in all of horror, who I like to call the Legion of Michael Myers, otherwise known as our friends. So what's up, everybody? Happy Michael Myers Monday. We are back from H45, back from Pasadena. Apologies for not being live last week. We did have a little unlive pre-recorded segment from the West Coast that I hope you got the message and appreciated that and enjoyed what we were able to send you from out west. In the meantime, we've got a lot to talk about tonight, do we not, guys? Welcome to it. Happy Michael Myers Monday. It is October 9th to be exact. And I see we've got a lot of friendly friends in the live chat already, lighting it up. Let's see, Camp Blood Collections checking in early. Of course, Teen Wolf. Megan Wagner is here as well. Josh Baker Videos has checked in. Charles is here. Andromeda on the road. Mike Johnston is here. David Suber, what's up, man? Happy Michael Myers Monday. Rob Windsor is here. AC Fall Guy. Brett Patrick, what's up, man? Appreciate that drink at the after party. Kelly Heineke has checked in. I think I saw Kaysen Heineke as well. Great to see you guys out there last weekend. Was that really just last weekend? Oh my gosh, it seems already like so long ago, and yet just yesterday at the same time. It's crazy. ProtectSafes.com is in the house as well. Pat, what's up, man? Happy Michael Myers Monday. Welcome. Lurch in the house. Awesome. Phil is here as well. Awesome. Good to see everybody. And again, if you're new here, don't be shy. Light it up in the live chat. We are just going to be here. It's an all H45 Monday evening. Gonna forego some of the stuff we normally do. There's not going to be poll results or a new poll launch or anything like that tonight. Mainly because we're just going to be talking about H45 and kind of giving our informal, personalized recap and just kind of hitting some highlights day by day as we experience them. And in doing that, we're going to share some of our photos and some of our video footage, some of which has already been published and you might have already seen earlier this week, some of which is brand new tonight. And if you're watching, you're going to be seeing for the very first time. Some of which is some very raw video footage, very unedited, that we're going to share and will otherwise be presented in a more formal, edited form later on in a few days or weeks even. But you're going to see it first here in its raw, unedited form. A little bit. And you know, there was some news there as well. I know there's been a lot of talk about what announcements were going to be made there and all that. I will break down the actual news and what was and was not said and took place at the panels at the Epic H45 45 Years of Terror convention. We're going to do that after our recap, and we might even have a special surprise guest here in the studio for the very first time tonight, giving us some of her favorite memories and moments from the weekend as well. So I don't know. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe it won't. We'll just see. It's we don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. Isn't it crazy? It's a mystery. All right. So we are gonna break down all of the events that we attended. Like I said, I'm just gonna give you some personal takes on some of this stuff, and then we'll hit the more newsworthy items toward the end and pick it up there. But we always try to start these Mondays, I do anyway, with some kind of show and tell. And I told you I I wasn't planning on buying any souvenirs or autographs or anything like that, and I didn't. It was kind of weird that I didn't buy any of that, but we were on, regular viewers know we were on a very strict budget just to be able to get out there, um, and we were able to go out there a few days early and do some other stuff out there around LA, and all that worked out well. But that's not to say I didn't walk away completely empty-handed. Now, my main souvenirs from the weekend were, of course, our photos, our video footage, our coverage, and just our experiences, getting to interact and see a lot of our friends, a lot of you for the first time in some cases, not for the first time in other cases, seeing you again. But I did walk away with two very cool souvenirs to commemorate our H45 weekend in physical form, other than our what we captured. And the first I will show you right here for tonight's show and tell is right here. That's right. I came home from Pasadena with some wood. That's right. But not just any wood. We call this the Strode wood. That's right. Came home with some Strode wood. What am I talking about? Have I piqued your interest yet? Well, what we're talking about is on Friday, right before we were about to get on the bus, the Horace Hallowed Grounds bus tour that kicked off all of H45 on Friday. A couple of you guys approached us, and we were talking to some friends as we were waiting to board bus number 5. And one of those friends, our buddy Rich, came up and introduced himself. And before I know it, he was gifting us this piece of Laurie Strode's house from Halloween 2018. The house is no longer standing, of course. It was destroyed after filming of 2018. They did have to recreate it to burn it down again for the opening of Kills. That was a different location. But this, from the original 2018 Strode house, this cherished piece of Strode wood, one of my H45 souvenirs that I will cherish. And we did capture that whole interaction on video. I'll be sharing that at a later time, but shout out to Rich. I appreciate you, man. And definitely going to put this in a place of honor. One other souvenir we did come home with was, and I've already put it in a cheap frame here, but we were able to snag one of the limited edition 25th anniversary Halloween H2O posters from Paramount, which apparently Paramount is now the rights holders of H2O. I guess they put out the new 4K. In any case, these were handed out, I believe, just to VIPs. But at the end of the Saturday after party, as we were leaving, they were handing them out to everybody that was leaving. So we were able to snag one. We each snagged one, actually. And it's not in perfect condition by any means. It got a little wrinkled in transport, but it's all good. And it looks beautiful in here. And I do really love this artwork. Again, not my favorite mask in that movie by any means, but gotta say, it's never looked better than it does right there. It looks pretty awesome, and of course, Laurie looks awesome, and love all the coloring, the orange coloring. So there we go. Those are my H45, the H45 haul, we'll say. Now, I know many of you, like our friends here, Pat, that Halloween collector, and Brett, and many of you guys were snagging many of those awesome convention exclusives that were available only there in person. Very limited amount. We saw a lot of them around. I know, David, you picked up some. So I want to hear from you in the live chat. What did you pick up? I know that was a priority for a lot of you guys. That poster, again, it was handed out to us. That's where we got ours, right after the Saturday after party. Let's see here. Sam Eigner has checked in. What's up, man? Good to see you out there. I did play it a minute ago. I'm going to play it again for you guys. The very special Happy Michael Myers featuring, well, some recognizable faces. Those of you in the regular Triple M crew that tunes in every week that couldn't be there in Pasadena, you will appreciate this because this right here, this is one of the highlights of the weekend. And I said I was going to kind of go in chronological order, but we're skipping over Friday and most of Saturday for now, and we're going to start right here with the Triple M crew meetup. And that is none other than Mr. Dave Farrick, who heard us about to record a Happy Michael Myers Monday to all of you guys that couldn't be there. And he came in and sat in and joined us for that epic Happy Michael Myers Monday. So to the crew that made it out there and to the meetup, that's David there on your left, David Suber, of course, Dave and myself. There in the back behind the shapes, that's our buddy Lurch. Sam is in there as well, and of course, Teen Wolf on the end. And I'm not going to leave Brett and Pat out. They were there in spirit, and we did do our own crew recreation of the photo a little bit later, and Lurch was there for that one as well. So that was pretty awesome. And again, that was just one of many awesome, unplanned, impromptu moments that happened throughout the weekend that just made it such an awesome weekend. So here is the first bit of never before seen flashback video. This is the uncut version of that clip, and you will hear us about to do the Happy Michael Myers Monday, and you'll see the actual moment here when Mr. Dave Farrick came over and decided to join us. Here, check this out. All right, here, it's already rolling, so just
like walk around.
Yeah, well, we'll just stand back there first and let's count to three, and we'll all say, well, the Michaels don't say anything, but everybody else say Happy Michael Myers Monday on three. So it'll be like 1, 2, 3, Happy Michael Myers Monday. Are you guys gonna count? You gonna count for us, honestly?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Oh my God! Now we got another Michael with us. Yes, yes.
The Michael Myers Monday, and then I seen your face.
Yes, perfect timing.
Count three reactions. There we go. 1, 2, 3.
Happy Michael Myers Monday!
Woo!
Yeah, it's pretty awesome moment, and really appreciate Dave. He just happened to be out there, and as you heard, he just heard us talk about Michael Myers Monday, and happened to be out there and came strolling on over, and it was an epic moment, to say the least. So appreciate all you guys, and yeah, that was a successful first ever Triple M crew meetup, I would say. Not bad when we got young Michael coming in and joining us, and shout out to all those shapes in the background as well. Those guys were awesome, and appreciate them. Colin Murdy, what's up, man? Yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was a fun moment. There was lots of moments like that, and I'm going to be sharing a couple different ones as we go. Of course, the whole event started on Friday with the bus tour, and we don't have a lot of footage from that to share quite yet because I've just barely even begun to dig into that. I wanted to get the walkthrough footage and kind of the convention floor footage up first, and a lot of our photos just from the convention floor, and now we're gonna moving more into the panels. We got the Carpenter panel up yesterday, and now we're going to be moving into more of the events like the panels and the bus tour and stuff like that. But I did pull up just a little bit to share with you guys here tonight from that. Our bus, we were on bus number 5, so shout out to everybody on bus number 5. We had a good time on there. Met a lot of cool people like Trent and Cameron, and there's a ton of other people that I'm probably forgetting right now. We had 3 different shapes on our bus, which was pretty cool. 3 different guys in costume as different versions of the shape. So everywhere we went, we had shape photo ops, and you'll see a lot of that in my video coverage and in our photos coming up later on this week. And when we got to the Myers house, of course, now the bus tour, we hit all the pretty much everywhere you could imagine from the 78 film. The bonus stop that we didn't go to that Sean's super fan bus went to, as reported by our friend David Suber, was the Halloween 2 hospital. And as Sean anticipated on his channel, the cops did apparently come, but everything ended okay. And Dick Warlock was there with them, and that was awesome. On bus number 5, we started at the Wallace and the Doyle houses, which the Doyle house not in great shape now, going through a lot of renovations. A lot of people picked up some Doyle wood while they were there, but did they get their Strode wood? I don't know. But a lot of people did pick up Doyle wood. We did not pick up Doyle wood at our when we stopped. Let me see. Lurch says, "Thank you, Matt, for recording all of that. Now we can relive this moment." Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, and that was actually my son Uzziah that was recording that exact clip, and Sue was shooting the still. She shot the still that you see there. So, family effort all the way around on all of that. But yes, definitely going to preserve it forever. That is like Michael Myers Monday history right there for all of us. It was an awesome moment. So we hit all of the awesome spots that you would imagine, and it was slightly different than 5 years ago. We did there was more walking involved this time, which has pros and cons because we were able to get closer to some of the houses and some of the different locations that we were not as able to get as close to 5 years ago. But it was a lot of walking and very exhausting. You'll see all of that. Shout out to our tour guide. Like I said, we weren't on Sean's bus, but Sean was awesome. He hooked us up with 3 seats on Robert's bus, Robert Pattinson. You know him on YouTube as the Set Jetter, and if you don't, go check him out. He's awesome and was really cool and a really fun and knowledgeable guide. Who we would have been obviously trying to do that on our own. It would not be ideal. Even having done the bus tour 5 years ago, I'd still advise you that's if you're trying to see those locations, that's the way to go. So it was epic. We did run into Mr. Dick Warlock at a certain point because, like I said, he was on their tour, and we kind of collided there, actually at the same place where Michael bumps into Mr. Warlock's real life son, who plays the Boombox Boy, and where Dick Warlock, as Michael Myers, here's where Laurie's going to the hospital on the boombox and hangs a left and goes out there in that little area. We were there on a lunch break, and so was their bus, and wouldn't you know it, there's Dick Warlock. Here he comes. Big hugs all the way around. It was big, emotional, awesome moment, and again, one of just many awesome emotional moments to come. Many of you regular viewers know I've been lucky enough to interview him a couple times, including here on the channel. You can find that video interview from a few years ago in the interviews playlist, but just seeing him out there and getting that fun embrace from the Shape himself was pretty awesome. And right in that location too, we were like literally right at the store window where you see the Silver Shamrock commercial playing on the TVs near where Chalice calls calls Nancy Loomis on the payphone. It was all very, very surreal, as the entire weekend was. So we did, of course, ultimately make our way to the Myers house. And that's where I'm going to pause speaking for a second and play you just a little clip from the Myers house. And again, this is footage that nobody has seen yet. It's completely unedited. So you will hear my voice on the recording, kind of talking. You'll hear other people's voices. This will be presented at a later date in a more polished form. But for now, check this out and enjoy just a little teaser of what's to come and just some of the fun that we at bus number 5 had at the Myers house. And one thing I will say that one of the funnest moments was when we were there, and everybody's jumping on the porch to get their photos, as you'll see in this video. Um, our three shapes were there with us, and then there was again another bus or two was there, and they had their own shapes with them. And I don't know if every bus had three, but there was at least another 3 or 4 shapes, lurking around. And so I went to Robert as he was hoping to get everybody, up and out as fast as possible to get their shots. I was like, is there any way we could get all the shapes up on the porch before we go? Just a shot of just the shapes up there, much less other people with them. And he was like, yeah. Real quick at the end, start rounding them up. And so that's what I did. I spent a few minutes rounding up all the different shapes from the different buses. As soon as everybody had gotten their own personal photos, we put them up there. I got just a brief clip as I'm walking up there to get my own photo with them, which you can see here. There's my photo with them as I had to jump up there. Then I jumped down, and before it got to be chaos, and everybody wanted their photos with them. But just a few minutes before that all occurred, this video was recorded at the actual real life Myers house in Pasadena. Check it out.
I don't know.
Thank you so much.
Don't go, Mike, don't go!
He walked around the porch like this. Seeing Judith's bedroom up there. There's Judith's room up there. He would have come around here, gone in the back door. There it is. There's Judith's bedroom.
Yep. There should be a pumpkin in that's the window, isn't it? Yeah. Oh wait, no, it was the window was on the front, wasn't it? Her bedroom?
Yeah, right there. Yep.
Will you call me tomorrow? More like bathroom where you walk off and use the bathroom. Thank you so much. You can walk the side of the house. Oh, you're good. Just like that. Perfect.
I came here once upon a time. We walked up on the guy.
All you had to do was say Florida.
Not too bad.
Like I said, just some very raw video, but there you go. That's the photo, me and the shapes there on the porch at the actual Myers house. Yeah, just again another surreal experience to be able to be instrumental in putting all those shapes up there, and then of course I gotta jump up there and get my own photo while I can. But that gathering of shapes at that holiest of holy places for fans of this franchise is nothing, of course, compared to what we would experience the next day when the convention itself actually began on September 30th. And we're going to go through a few of these photos, but this is obviously one of my favorites with just a sea of shapes here. This was taken on Saturday on the convention hall, and we were just shooting a walkthrough, and all of a sudden there were a big group of shapes and more, and so we did a lot of fun stuff. There were smaller shapes too. There were shapes of all sizes. This isn't even all of them. We've been sharing some of the photos on the social media. We even had our Laurie Strode pop in and pose for some shots as well. Again, this all just happened so impromptu, and then there you can see we had the ultimate guest star with Mr. James Jude Courtney. And so I am going to right now play another fun clip. This one from Saturday, and I call this one the Gathering of Shapes. And you might have seen we uploaded it last Monday. If you haven't seen it yet, check this out. This is, again, fairly raw. I edited it while we were still out in California, and was able to put it up. But check this out for just a couple minutes and enjoy this awesome cameo. Again, yet another magic Myers multiverse moment when James Duke Courtney just out of nowhere came over and joined. And anyway, you'll see the reaction. It's pretty awesome. Check it out.
When you're done doing that,
Having an impromptu gathering of shapes here. Shapes of all eras and decades gathering here at H45. I think we have just about every shape from every movie represented somewhere here. Yes. Yes. Shapes facing off, shapes squaring off. Look at all these shapes. Everywhere we look, more shapes. I mean, a sea of shapes, literally. Ultimate gathering of shapes.
there's one. There's another.
And look at that!
It's Batman pajamas. What's up? Yeah, what's up, guys? You look marvelous.
James.
Yes, James Duke Courtney in the house.
Yes, that was such an awesome moment. James Duke Courtney showing up. And look, speaking of surprise cameos, surprise guests showing up, look who just showed up in the studio. Oh my gosh, our first ever live in studio guest.
Right.
What's
Hey
up?
guys.
Sue is here in the studio.
Yep.
Yep.
I like your chair positioning. This is good.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, we were just going over a little bit of the events of Saturday and Dave joining the Triple M crew meetup for the Happy Michael Myers Monday shout out, and then of course James Jude Courtney joining the epic gathering of shapes toward the end of our walkthrough. So you were there for the whole thing.
Yeah.
You were there in 2018. We've got a lot of our friends who we talked to. David Suber, of course. Sam is here.
David,
Team
I
Whoop
love
is
you.
here. The Heineckes are here. And we've got a lot of people that are regular viewers that were not there as well, that are living vicariously through us all right now. Phil and Kelly and Mike, everybody saying hello. David's saying hello to you.
Hey guys. And I'm looking at, sorry, I'm new to this camera, right?
Yeah, if you can, but
Well, it's hard not to take my eyes off of you,
yeah,
but.
wow. Anyway, so tell everybody while you're here what some of your favorite moments of H45, because we did have some awesome moments outside of the convention because we were there a few days before, and we'll talk about that another time. But of those 3 days of the H45, including the bus tour on Friday and the 2 convention days, what are some of your favorite moments?
Well, I did meet some friends on the bus tour, which was awesome, and they might even.
Yes.
I know they're gonna be lifelong friends,
Mm-hmm.
especially Trent and Ren. We bonded,
Mm-hmm.
and I came in here talking about Dake, and one of my favorite moments was when you were with your Triple M crew. Our son Ozai came with us, and he's very musical, so Dake was standing there by himself, and we had Ozai, and I said, "Oh, I'm Mrs. Halloween Daily News. Here's our son, and he
Right.
loves music too." So our son's talking to him, and I had to say, "This is Dake. He's
Mhm.
Rob Zombie's young Michael Myers, which I know he hasn't seen yet.
Mhm.
We were gonna let him see it, but he hasn't seen it before now because there were boobs, right?"
Well, back when he wasn't
Yeah.
old enough to see it, but now that he is, now he's just hasn't
Yeah.
watched it yet.
And his
But yeah,
one-
he had no clue. Was the interesting thing, which was kind of cool for them.
Yeah, so they were talking, and I got a picture of them, and that was great. I loved that moment. And then one of my other favorite moments was actually when we were not together, but I got a text from you saying that Malik just escorted you into the VIP party, and that for me was awesome.
Yeah. Spoiler alert: we haven't gotten to that part yet, but yeah. Needless to say, I met Malik Akkad. I'll talk a little bit about that when we get to the Sunday or Saturday night, which we're almost there anyway. But yeah, that was a cool moment.
Yeah,
for sure.
That was definitely awesome. But overall, I would say just this convention specifically, everybody who was there, they were there for one reason, and maybe you don't fit in wherever you're from or where you live, nobody understands you, but in this one place, this place, everybody understood each other, and the camaraderie was just awesome, and I could definitely, that's what I was feeling, so.
Oh, yeah.
That was definitely my favorite, just of the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was amazing, and again, there's just so many levels of different things, but yeah, I mean, I talked about it the whole time I was there to anybody of you guys that I did talk to, and we always talk about it how we didn't find any jerks there that among the fans. It was just everybody was just there and happy and just leaving their whatever made them unhappy at home or and just putting it all away and everybody was there like you said for the right reasons. And yeah, because it wasn't cheap for us to go, and we did it as cheap as possible, I think, and so it's not, you got to be somewhat of a dedicated fan to even just be there. And Malik even said in his panel at one point that this is the fan base, the people that travel there and do that, and that's the base that they're really keeping this going for and working for it, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, I definitely loved it. And again, those of you Triple M people, I get to meet a bunch of guys for the first time.
Yes.
A couple of you for the second or third time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, you guys are awesome and you rock. And I just dropped in to say hey, but I'm gonna go back up
Sam's
there.
asking where your Halloween dress is.
My uniform, yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, currently, well, see that dress, that's a one of a kind dress. So we were flying, and that makes us really nervous. And I know that I cannot find that dress anywhere else. It's my first ever one, so I rolled it up and I took it in my carry-on, in my backpack, so it was on my person.
Yeah.
The whole
Didn't want to
time.
separate from
I
it,
was
right?
like, no, they could lose my luggage, whatever else, but just not
Yeah.
that special dress.
Yeah, you need it like a superhero's
Yeah.
armor. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel pretty super whenever I'm wearing it, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just dropped in to say, hey guys. And so I'll see you now we're recapping the 45, maybe 2, 3 a.m.
Well, we're probably about maybe half done. Maybe. Yeah.
Anyway, you guys have fun. Great seeing you. Thanks again for your support. And I love you.
Love you.
See you in like 4 hours.
Maybe not quite that long. Maybe not quite that long.
3.5.
Other people have to get up tomorrow in the morning. Yeah, see, it was definitely a family event for us. We're all fans, obviously, but it was just a huge thing. My son had never even been on an airplane before. He had never been to the West Coast. The only other time I had ever been was in 2018. And when we went that time, there was nothing but convention. Like, we didn't do any, like, LA touristy stuff. This time we did go out there specifically a few days early, and we were able to do that by not staying at the hotel close to the convention center or anywhere near it. In fact, we were about a 15-minute drive at a Days Inn in Alhambra, which, by the way, I would say that was a good move overall. I have, nothing but good things to say about Days Inn, except for one complaint about them, because we did end up renting a car, which again, I think was a good choice. I was happy with that, except for my dealings, renting and returning with Hertz specifically. Won't be going back to that company, but probably will be renting again. That was a good move. With that Days in Alhambra, again, staff, everybody, everything was cool. They just have no parking, like on site. And their answer is if the few parking spots they have are full, is, well, you can park on the street. Which, again, I don't think it would be a huge issue. It's just kind of an inconvenience and kind of an annoyance, especially at, after midnight, which we were getting in back from the convention some of these nights and some of our other adventures some of the other nights. So anyway, that's my quick Yelp review on that Days Inn, but that was a good money saver, staying a little bit ways away, and because of that we were able to come a few days early, and we were able to do some sort of touristy Hollywood things. My son, like she said, he's a musician, so he wanted to go to Amoeba Music, which as soon as he said it, I was like, well, cool, let's do that. So we went. We wanted to see some stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, so we were right there. And what we walk out there. There's Pat Sajak, one of my wife's favorites, because she was on the Wheel of Fortune a few years back, and few feet the other way, there's Bela Lugosi, one of my favorites. So everybody was happy on that trip, and we did again, not Halloween related, but not franchise related, but you'll see we did make it out to Universal Studios, and they actually had us out for Halloween Horror Nights, and we documented the whole thing. That'll be coming to you this month as well. So lots of fun, and like I said, it was just like family adventure. We're working. It's always work involved, but the best kind of work. And we were all working. And my son, he was shooting, like you saw even in that clip. He's doing the video. Sue's doing the stills. So we were all picking up whatever slack or whatever needed to be done at any given time. So it was fun. Yeah, you guys, absolutely. Yes, you guys agree with everything Sue said. And yeah, that came up over and over with those of you that I talked to and everybody I talked to out there who's not here on this live stream right now, that, yeah, you guys appreciate that we tend to keep things positive here. And I've said it before, it's not like there aren't things that, you know, I don't love about every single film or every single decision creatively in this franchise. It's just that I'm not going to sit here and spend an hour talking about stuff that I don't like and criticizing all the stuff that, let's just celebrate things we do like. And that's what we do here, especially on Mondays specifically, is we're celebrating all the things we love about this great franchise. And it is a great time to be a fan of this. Okay, so Sue, we were talking about Saturday, and I'm going to go over and we're just going to blast through a couple of the photos that we've been putting up in our galleries. These are some convention floor photos and just some of the various vendors and a lot of the different cosplayers that we saw. And here's some friends of ours, Mr. Douglas Tate and his wife, Isabel Cueva. And while we were there, I had to take this historic photo. Tom Morga and Douglas Tate, if you know, you know, these are the only two men in the history of the world to play both Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees on the big screen. History right there, those two, the only two to do it. Jason and Michael right there. And we captured them both. And they're both awesome. Here's Sue in her Halloween dress, as spoken of earlier, with the great Eric Preston, one of our buds as well. Me and Eric, but you don't need to see enough of me. There's the great Carmela McNeil, which I was so happy to finally meet in person. We've been friends from afar and digitally, like many of us, for years now. There's the great Dick Warlock having some fun with a shape. There's Nick Castle meeting fans. And yeah, Sam, you mentioned this photo of Sue. Sue doing her best Laurie Strode, trying to get away from all of the shapes coming after her. It was so fun doing this. This was during that same gathering of shapes moment. It was really just an impromptu thing. It was kind of happened at the only time it could, because right after that we were in the convention room for I think it was the 78 panel, and then that went right into Malik's panel. So we were pretty much in there. And then that actually is the other way around. It was Malik's panel. Then that went right into the 78 panel. That went right into the meetup. And so this was kind of the end of our floor time, no pun intended, with this photo on Saturday afternoon. And of course, I got to jump in there too and get my goofy photo with all the shapes. But yeah, we almost had in this photo, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9. I think at one point we had 12, and there were more than that showed up at different times. Would have been cool if we had exactly 13. And yeah, of course, I had to have them do the Spider-Man thing. And we had way more than 3. I did it with 3, with our 3 shapes at the graveyard. You'll see that in my when we get to covering the bus tour. But and there's Sue. She got this shot. But there they all are doing the Spider-Man multiverse of Myers. And here's some of the other shapes of different sizes that we talked about. And this family, I mean, talk about, champion families. Yeah, this would have been us at a certain point, for sure. And it's even, I mean, it's hilarious, but it's even fitting that little Laurie is crying right there. And we got so many shapes. There again, the meetup. More of the meetup. A couple shots from that VIP party. This was the photo op they had set up there at the VIP party. See. This was the Myers house and some of the backdrops they had set up for the photo ops at the back. And I love this. Tyler Maine having some fun with this young fan here. Tyler's great with the fans. Michael Smallwood, another good friend of ours, who again I've only known digitally until this weekend, and he was just so cool and awesome, just like I knew he was just from our Zoom conversation a few years ago. And he was awesome. They had him right next to Carmela, and we all got some fun photos together. There's Uzziah with Danielle. She was like the only one. That's our son Uzziah Arts, and yeah, Danielle was the one guest that he definitely wanted to meet. So of course we had to make that happen, and she was awesome, as she always is. Sue and PJ's boyfriend Rob with the great Gloria Gifford. And here all three of us are with the great PJ Souls. So many shapes. Again, you can see all of these. That was me with Michael there. Another one with Carmela and myself. And then there they are. Michael and Carmela, aka Vanessa and Marcus. And there we all are. There's Cody Robinson. And I met Tom Jones Jr. finally, who of course played Dr. Loomis in Halloween Kills. I'm wearing the HK shirt right now. You guys, regular viewers, know that I was very excited to hopefully meet Tom Jones Jr., and I did. Mission accomplished there. Michelle Dawson, who again I interviewed, and we had a great conversation. It was great to connect with her in person as well. Marion Singh from Halloween 2018, one of our favorite kills from that movie. She was great and awesome to meet her in person out there in Pasadena as well. Of course, the legendary Dick Warlock. So many shapes, so many of you guys in costume were so great. And of course, you recognize this man, the legend himself, James Jude Courtney. Just wouldn't be a Halloween convention without this man, right? And if you didn't hear the big surprise panel, the final panel on Sunday, it was announced early on Saturday. We were in the convention room, and I think it was maybe the H3 panel had just ended. Actually, it was the Men of Michael Myers panel. All of the different guys. Dick Warlock was up there. James was up there. Tyler Main. At the very end of that, they announced that big to be announced mystery panel at 4 p.m. on Sunday would be John Carpenter. And when I heard this on Saturday, I looked at Sue and Uzziah, and I was like, "Yeah, he's just joking." And then he literally said on the mic, "No, I'm not. I'm serious. John's coming." And I still didn't really believe it. And then he said it at the end of the next panel, and it started to become apparent that John Carpenter was coming the next day. And all of a sudden, the entire complexion of Sunday took on a whole different John Carpenter hue that was a unbelievably awesome surprise to me, because while there were rumors of who may or may not be added as a surprise guest, I didn't really ever think it would seriously be John Carpenter, and it was. And there's the great Malik Akkad from his panel, and there's the man himself, John Carpenter, who appeared at that final panel. And we do have some footage from that John Carpenter panel up elsewhere on this channel in the H45 playlist. I put a link to that playlist in the description of this video. So, like Sue said, one of the awesome moments of the weekend was I met Malik Akkad. Regular viewers know what a big deal that is. I mean, anybody that knows anything about the franchise knows what a big deal that is. But you guys have heard me talk about, how interviewing Malik would be at the top of my list of anybody who I never interviewed, involved in this franchise, still living on this plane of existence. He's at the top of the list, and I'd never met him before, and so I will tell you a little bit about my experience meeting him. I'm not going to tell you what was said between us because that's between us and it was off the record and obvious reasons. But um, I will give you just a tiny bit of commentary on what the experience was like for me because it was pretty cool. As Sue mentioned, and since she kind of set the table for that, uh, I feel like I owe it to you guys. So, picture this: it's Saturday. The final 78 panel concluded. We do the Triple M meetup right outside the panel, just like we planned, and then we are promptly told by staff that we gotta move because they're setting up for the after party, which is starting at like 7. They're opening doors at like 7:30, I think. And so we're like, okay, so we're all kind of shuffled out to the front, and we may end up out in front of the convention center, which was fine as it turned out. And that's where we got that video and those photos that you've seen. And so everything starts to wind down. Daig actually puts on an impromptu surprise performance of his own original music right out there in front of the convention center. And again, I got footage of the whole thing. I'll be sharing that with you guys very soon. Give me some time. It takes a little while to go through all of this stuff and sort through it all and get it presentable. So he does this performance as the sun's setting and night's coming on, and then they're about to open the doors to the essentially the VIP party. It's the Saturday after party. It was included with VIP admission. There was a $20 cover if you weren't VIP. Unfortunately, of course, it's a 21 and up event. They got bands, they got bar, all this stuff. And Oziah, he's 16. So we had to, we couldn't just have him just hanging out on the streets of Pasadena while we're inside partying it up with the VIPs indefinitely until the wee hours of the morning, right? So we had to get it back to our days in. And this was the only kind of, there were some minor hiccups with our system. We'll refine it if we do this again. But anyway, Sue volunteered to drive him back to the days in. And I would stay and keep covering the day performance and anything that happened between now and then because we just I felt like anyway, I couldn't leave. I didn't want to miss anything. I mean, this is a historic event, and aside from just wanting to be there from like a fan standpoint, wanting to be there from like a historical documentarian standpoint, right? I mean, we got Dave performing out here on the streets, and it's who knows what's going to happen next. So they go, and she's going to get him some food, get him back to the days in. Then she'll get back, meet me, and we'll finish the night together inside the party. So they leave. The sun sets, Dave wraps, and I've got our cameras, and we're just kind of hanging out front of the convention center, and they're just starting to let the people in line in for the party. It's around 7:30, and I met some people that I'm Facebook friends with, and again, we'd never met in person, and had a great conversation, and we're just talking, and then we see Mr. Malik Akkad walk outside the front doors, right? And he's just kind of all by himself, he's texting somebody or whatever. And we just, kind of made the comment, yep, that's the man right there. Yep, that's Halloween royalty right there. That's the man. And then we kind of wrapped up our conversation. They were like, well, we're going to head on inside. We'll see you in there. So, yep. And so they go on inside, and I'm still just kind of, texting Sue, just trying to get myself together, figuring out, do I go in there? I'm probably just going to wait outside for Sue to arrive, most likely. And so I'm just there kind of minding my business. And I swear to you guys, this is how it played out. I'm standing there, and Malik's like over there, like 10 or 15 feet, right? And I'm just looking down on my phone, and all of a sudden I hear this voice over my shoulder, and it says, "Hey, what kind of camera you got there?" And I look up, and it's him. It's Malik. He had done this Michael Myers thing where he just like somehow snuck up, like, and he's like right here, like as close as you can be. Like he's like right here, looking at like, what kind of camera you got there? I've been around cameras my whole life. What are you shooting with? And I'm taken aback, right? I'm just like, because again, you guys, regular viewers know. I mean, he's the man, and it's a big deal, and we're face to face now, and it's not even like inside the convention where it's like any kind of formal thing. We're just and so I'm kind of taken aback, and so I answered his question, right? I think I got out the words, it's a Canon 6D or whatever, and and yeah, so I'm like catching my breath, trying to play it cool, right? And and so I you know get out the answer to his question, and then I'm like, let me shake your hand, man, and introduce myself, and yeah, so we had a little conversation there, and I was able to keep it somewhat cool. I don't think I stuttered too much right there. Um, and again, I'm not going to tell you the contents of our conversation with each other because obviously it was off the record, and obviously it's Malik Akkad, and that's between us. And but I will tell you, it was positive, and he actually, you know, said some very kind of complimentary, flattering things. Um, about being aware of Halloween Daily News and so forth. Beyond that, though, I can't say anything else. But I was able at a certain point to be able to text Sue. But before that happened, we're talking, and yeah, he has his guy. I think like brought him a smoke or something, maybe some cigarettes. Uh, but at some point, I realize the rest of the Trinkus team has joined us, because again, I'm just like entranced with like our conversation, and all of a sudden, before I know it, he's introducing me to the rest of the Trinkus team, right? And there's Ryan Freeman, who I've communicated with, digitally over the years now a few times, and there we are, there he is, and here's the Trinkus team, and it's getting more and more surreal, and then as if it couldn't get more surreal, there's Rowan Campbell right in the middle of the Trinkus team, and everybody's just having this like moment, and I do remember, yeah, just like he and I made contact at a certain point, and so I shook his hand and introduced myself, and it was again a goal. You guys remember one of my goals was to meet Rowan and to hopefully have some kind of interaction and conversation with him, and get a feeling for how he is and everything, and let him know what I thought of his performance. And so I was able to do that, all of that, like right there in that weird circle of Trenkus personnel. It was very surreal, and very just kind of unreal, and yeah, the last thing I'll impart about that is it did at a certain point, before the whole thing kind of dissipated, at a certain point, and this is no BS, this actually happened. Malik put his arm around me and said, "All right, Matt and I are going to go have a drink now." inside. Now, that's that was like, and once we're inside, that's when I texted Sue with the text that she's talking about, that Malik just you know uh, walked us into the party basically. So it was it was a pretty surreal moment to say the least. Like I said, I wanted to meet these guys on different levels for different reasons over the years. I've talked to you guys on Michael Myers Monday. You knew going out there, this was somewhat of a goal. So to have it all happen like that, it was just very surreal, very weird, and again, I'm sorry if I'm being, vague about any of this, but you can understand. But it was awesome. And then we got inside, and yes, shout out to Lurch and to Brett for hooking up the vodka cranberries once we were inside. They were delicious. Shout out to the bartender, I guess, too. They were delicious. And it was amazing. And then we were inside. Once in there, gosh, there was bands, there was live music. The opening band, I got a few photos of them in the gallery. They're called the Three Michaels. It was brilliant. They had Clown Michael on drums and Ghost Bob Michael on bass and regular Jumpsuit Michael on guitar. Awesome. Playing Carpenter soundtrack tracks. Awesome, awesome. And the main band was Fast Times, and they were all '80s popular '80s favorites, and that was a lot of fun. Saw our buddy Christopher Nelson there at the party. Actually talked to him quite a bit that night. Had a great conversation with him. Um, he's so cool. It was just really awesome to uh, hang out and just kind of shoot the shit with him. So shout out to Christopher for taking the time and hanging with me. I was still waiting for Sue to get there at the time. I think he was waiting for his wife to get back from the bar at the time, so we were kind of keeping each other company. I think until our other better halves got back to us, but it was great. And, of course, we saw some other friends in there, some of you guys in there as well. Sam was there, I know. I think, Sam, you took those photos of us over by the Ghost Bob, if I remember correctly. Turned out pretty good, so thank you. So yeah, that was Saturday night, and as if it couldn't get more epic than that, that was still Sunday to go, and that had the epic John Carpenter panel itself, and of course we were there. We were actually front row, front and center for the whole thing. Um, Another surreal moment. They let me sit on the front row with the entire Trancas team for the Carpenter panel, which was just another surreal bit. So when you watch our footage, you'll see I'm a lot of it's from my camera, but it does cut to Oziah's camera a few times. And you'll see a few of those times it pans over, and you'll see where I was sitting in relation to Malik and Ryan and the Trinkus team and all that, which again was just awesome to be, to be right there in the presence of like all of these people that are the decision makers when it comes to this franchise that we love so much, and just for all of them to be so cool and down to earth and just like, hey, hey Matt, good to see you again, and remember us from the night before and all that stuff. It was just surreal and awesome. So then, of course, Carpenter arrives and the place erupts. It goes crazy, and it's an awesome panel. And I don't know if it was completely by design or even somewhat by accident, but in any case, I do think it was probably the right choice. Because when they announced it on social media on Saturday, it was called John Carpenter in Conversation with Nick Castle and Others, and that's truly what it did end up being. It wasn't just a straight Q&A. I mean, fans did ask questions and they did answer them. But I appreciated that there was no real moderator for that one. They kind of had Nick as the de facto moderator for a little while, which I thought was cool. John did bring Malik up on stage right at the beginning. Um, Nick came out, kind of moderated a little bit, but with a conversation between the two of them, and kind of acted as moderator in a way. They brought Nancy Loomis out, and this was kind of cool because they would bring people out one by one and add to the panel, add to the conversation. So they brought Nancy Loomis out next, and that was a cool dynamic because again, Nancy's worked with John not just in Halloween, but obviously going back to Assault on Precinct 13. So also with The Fog and Halloween 3. She's worked, with Carpenter a lot. Then they would bring out PJ Souls and John Michael Graham as well. So I thought that was a really effective and cool way to do the panel and to make it slightly different than just your standard John Carpenter Q&A panel, which is great in and of itself. But since you've got all of these Halloween 78 collaborators right here in the next room, I thought that was a good way to go. And also it made sense to kind of have Nick be the more or less the de facto moderator for that panel as opposed to just having somebody else. There were some cool celebrity moderators at some of the other panels. But I thought this one was handled better. And again, I don't know how much of that was a plan ahead of time or just fate how it worked out, but I thought it worked out pretty well doing it that way. Now, of course, there was drinks with Atkins afterwards. We did not participate in that one. I know many of you did, and I'm sure it was epic and awesome. And it is all still somewhat of a blur for me. I mean, again, as I'm sorting through our photos and videos, and even buried memories from even just a week ago, are like, oh my gosh, wow, that really happened. Oh yeah, I forgot about that little tidbit. Oh, they really did say that. That's right. Okay, so a lot of this we're still sorting through and everything, but I promised you the news bits of the weekend and what news there is to report from H45. So here's what came out of the Halloween 45 Years of Terror as far as franchise news and updates. And it really comes down to the Malik Akkad panel on Saturday. And it's not really that what he said so much as what he well, let me just read you some of the words that he said, because obviously Malik was asked during his solo panel about general goals for where to take the franchise next and what a realistic time frame may be. So these are the exact words that he answered with. Quote, definitely it's new heights that we're at now. Michael has just become American lexicon, and that is fun, and it's kind of a beast sometimes to even try and ride that thing. This is, for me, the best. This celebration of it, seeing all of you guys, that just somehow makes me feel like we're doing our job. Where it goes, I can tell you one thing. It's going to stay at that elevated level. We are going to keep it quality. You don't please everyone, and that I know all the time, but we've got some really cool stuff coming that I know this base is going to really love. Time frame you mentioned? Well, there were all these rumors last week. I don't know where they started, but there's always a kernel of truth, I will say. So we're working on it. We're working on a lot of things in the works right now. It just takes a little while. Things will be dropping. Watch this space. We've got fun stuff coming. end quote. And then he adds one more sentence to that. He says, quote, might even be before Halloween, actually, the holiday, end quote. A minute later, a different fan asks about an officially licensed video game, to which he responds very simply by nodding his head, pointing his finger, and saying, quote, watch this space, end quote. So nothing really exactly said, unless, of course, you want to read between the lines a little bit. And I'm not saying you should be reading between the lines a little bit, but it is clear from those statements that things are in the works, and that report that came out right before we left town about the TV rights up for grabs, a quote-unquote bidding war happening. We updated that story because Bloody Disgusting updated their story, and we published a new version from Pasadena. Because while we previously reported that this bidding war was going on, it's now been a little bit more refined, according to Bloody Disgusting, that a massive bidding war, their words, is being waged right now, specifically for the television rights to the Halloween franchise. Bloody says that A24 and Miramax are the two main parties currently in battle for TV rights. And they add, quote, A24 is currently leading the charge. That came out just days before H45. And on the Saturday of H45, Malik did state that there's usually a kernel of truth in rumors like that, is how he put it. He didn't say there is definitely a kernel of truth here. He said there usually is. I think he actually said there always is. The point is, there's a little something to that. And in response to the video game, yeah, it looks like something like that is probably going to be in the near future on the horizon, which shouldn't come as a shock, again, for regular viewers, because I've been saying for years right here on Michael Myers Monday Live that a Halloween franchise, officially licensed, big budget video game, similar to the Friday the 13th game or the new Texas Chainsaw game that just came out this year. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And of course, that's going to happen. And it might be the perfect thing to kind of be the middle ground in between a film project and the next film project, or even the next project of any type of film, be it TV, streaming, or whatever. Maybe it'd be a video game would be the next thing. In any case, things are coming, things are in the works, and that's for sure. And the one other news item that I will impart to you that was part of the H45 experience. As you know, John Carpenter just released a new album on Friday called Anthology 2. And this Friday, the 13th, his new series, Suburban Screams, premieres on Peacock. He directs an episode. I've seen the episode. It's awesome. I've seen a couple episodes of the series. It's kind of like the old Unsolved Mysteries series, but done in a much more R-rated, hard-edged Carpenter style. And his episode, which is episode 6, by the way, does feel very much like a Carpenter film or short film, mainly because he and Cody Carpenter and Daniel Davies also do the music for that episode. They do all the music for that episode, and they do the series theme for the show itself. So that's premiering this week. He talked a little bit about directing remotely during the panel, and already since then, There's been some official video released of him directing remotely. We also talked to Sandy King just a few days ago about Suburban Screams. That exclusive one-on-one interview with Sandy King will be dropping here on our channel tomorrow morning. You want to check that out. She also talks about what Halloween is like at the Carpenter family house. Really awesome stuff. Actually shot that interview as soon as we got home back here on Wednesday, and hours later I was talking to Sandy, who was back there in Pasadena. Crazy. But there was one interesting question, or answer I should say, that Carpenter gave when they asked about new music, and of course he plugged the new album that's out, and of course he plugged the series when Nick brought that up. But then the fans specifically asked if there would be new soundtrack, movie scores that he would be working on. And Carpenter's answer was, quote, "Yes, we will." Sounds like something is a done deal. Something that he's going to work on, I think, outside of Suburban Screams, because I think that that's already happened. He's saying, yes, we will. So, again, take all those comments as you will. We're going to be covering all of this as it develops, obviously, but clearly there is a lot to come when it comes to this franchise. And yeah, this franchise is not going to lay dormant as long as I anticipated it might. I mean, I was the first to say, don't expect any kind of announcement at age 45. And there wasn't. There was not. But it does sound like there's some exciting things happening sooner than even I was anticipating, which I'm all for. So there we go. That's our general kind of personalized recap of events, and that's the news as it stands right now that we can report definitively as of now. And there will be more. There will be much more from this, and I've got footage from all of these panels, and I will be sharing that stuff with you guys. But just wait. Again, cool things come to those who wait. Before we get ready to get out of here, though, I do want to share one more clip with you guys. This was from that 1978 panel that took place on Saturday, right before our meetup. Many of you were in there for it, and it's great. And I've got tons of footage from it that we'll be sharing and talking about over the next few weeks. But I want to share this one clip because this was a story I had never heard before. Maybe it's old news to you guys. I never heard this particular anecdote presented. In this clip, Tommy Lee Wallace reveals a somewhat shocking new detail from the set of Halloween 1978 involving he and his then girlfriend, Nancy Loomis. And again, what he says might not be so shocking, unless, of course, again, you want to read between the lines, which I kind of think Mr. Carpenter did a little bit. Watch his reaction in this. Check this out.
While Nancy's near the microphone, I'll steer this back to Halloween by asking her if she remembers the night we shot the old house and the big one shot at the beginning and all that. Because I'll tell a little secret. We were so exhausted after we finished. We were both deeply involved in this movie, as you can imagine, on several different levels. We just went upstairs and crashed in that little bed and spent the night. Didn't go home until the next day. Wow.
Well, you were married.
Oh, I should explain. We were going together at the time. Eventually got married and had 2 great children and are still friends, I'm happy to say.
So I don't know. You guys tell me. Is that old news? Am I did I just not realize that or what? Tommy Lee Wallace and Nancy Loomis crashed in Judas' bed at the Myers house because they were so exhausted. What do you guys think about that revealing new tidbit? Just when you think we know it all about the making of Halloween, there we go. Andromeda's heard that story before. Okay, so it's not quite breaking news. Ooh, Rob says Hope Carpenter writes the score for a video game. That would be epic. I feel like just taking these words for what they're worth, not reading too much into it, but I feel like just judging from what Malik is saying about keeping everything at an elevated level and just the way he talks about how Carpenter was his first call going into the 2018 project. I would like to think that as long as Carpenter is willing to do music for these projects, they're always going to hire him to do music for these projects at the very least and be executive producer at the very least. And it sounds like he's going to be willing. If you watch that panel, it sounds like he's into being that involved. So I would think the video game or anything else, it should have his music attached. When I talk to Sandy, she talks about the value and how Carpenter's fans do expect that music, and just as fans, we've seen films where Carpenter didn't do the music, and they don't have that same feeling as the ones that he does. Obviously, um, it's not like it'd be impossible, but yeah, I just think it's a given that they're going to go to him from now on for any project related to this, and he should always be the first choice, and rightfully so. All right. Oh, Andromeda says it's on one of the bonus features. Okay, so because if you rewatch that clip, Nancy, her face drops open like he's about to reveal something crazy. So I don't think she realized he told that on a bonus feature before, but all right. Like I said, this has been an all H45, but I am still going to do a couple shout outs. Because we did pull just a couple up from social media today. It is Michael Myers Monday. And so I'm going to start at the, what do we call this now? The platform that used to be called Twitter, I guess. Is that what it is? This comes from Winona Simmons at Winona WSIM 2323 on the former Twitter.com. I just think this is a really cool photo. Don't know if they took this photo. It looks like it's at our friend Kenny's Myers house, North Carolina. Moving over to Instagram, we talked about her briefly earlier. Our pal Carmela McNeil, check this out. She shared this photo of herself with the legend John Carpenter from last weekend, wishing us all a happy Michael Myers Monday. so cool meeting Carmela in person. It sounds weird saying meeting because I feel like we've known each other for years because we have. We just never in person in the flesh like that. So that, like Sue said, that was one of the most epic things about this trip for us was the whole community aspect as much as anything, and you guys as much as people like Carmela. It just all bleeds together. No pun intended. One more from Instagram for this week. This comes from Mel's Haunted House. It says it's Michael Myers Monday, y'all. Who wants to have a Halloween marathon? So anytime's good for a Halloween marathon. I did marathon the most recent 3 films right before we went to Pasadena, as a matter of fact. But that looks pretty cozy. And now we're going to move over to TikTok for a couple because this one's great. Posted by Horror Ads over on TikTok for Michael Myers Monday. This is a 1988 TV ad for Halloween airing quite fittingly on Monday at 8 p.m. So I love that, and I love that Michael Myers Monday is taking over TikTok as well. And one more from TikTok. This is from Maggot Money 999, showing off the ghost socks and rocking her Michael Myers tee for Michael Myers Monday on TikTok. And we're over there too on that social media as well. If you ever want to tag us or follow us over there, that way we might be able to find you easier and thus feature you here on a shout out on Triple M Live. All right, so as if the H45 event wasn't enough to just melt our brains, we had that news break, literally as we're leaving town. And then it got refined while we were out of town about there's this bidding war for the TV rights. And again, is it a bidding war? I mean, terminology. Who knows? But that was Bloody's term. You heard Mallet's comments. I think what's pretty obvious here is that wheels are turning, things are in motion, and we're gonna have a lot of news to talk about regarding this franchise here coming up very soon, and it sounds like very possibly in the next couple weeks. So the plan right now, obviously, we got 3 more Mondays here in October, planning to be here live for everyone. Like I said, we got a ton more coverage coming out of H45. Some stuff I'm going to keep premiering for you guys first here. Some of it will be raw and uncut. And other surprises coming as well. We got some cool interviews, some connections we made out there that we're going to be following up with. And so I hope you guys will hang out and enjoy the ride with us. It's our month, it's our time, and things are just heating up in Haddonfield all over again, it sounds like. So I'm going to jump over here in the live chat one more time before I get out of here. You guys, if you're watching this on replay, drop us a line down in the comments. Subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. And let us hear more of your own favorite memories of 45 Years of Terror. And look for lots more coverage. Like I said, we've only really just begun. You can see many more photos, links to all of our videos, panel coverage, all that stuff right now over at HalloweenDailyNews.com. And I've put direct links to our video playlist from H45 as well as our coverage hub at the main website. I've got both those links in the description of this Triple M live stream, so you can find it real easily there. Rob says, awesome show. Now we have to keep Halloween Daily News at an elevated level to the next movie or the TV show. Thank you. Yes, sir. We're going to keep it there. Absolutely. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. And I'll definitely tell Sue. Thank you, David. It was great seeing you out there. Yes, Pat. They did mention the Coupe de Villes, that they were thinking about possibly re-recording their album, which would be pretty awesome. Ooh, Andromeda, that's a good idea. Have Nick Hassel write and direct an episode of whatever this new TV series could be. And if we're gonna do that, let's have Tommy write and direct one too, right? Wow, let's pull in all the directors that have directed for the franchise. Bring them in for episodes. Travis is loving the channel, keeping me entertained while I edit. Happy Michael Myers Monday, everyone. Well, thank you, thank you. Happy Michael Myers Monday, and welcome, it sounds like. See, Darlene checked in. Halloween vibes as well. Welcome, guys. Happy Michael Myers Monday. Kaysen loved meeting Rowan too. Rowan, I mean, yeah, yeah, meeting Rowan was cool, and I did speak to him a few other times after that. That was our initial introduction. Um, we spoke again briefly later on that night, and then the next day on Sunday, I took Sue and Oz over there and introduced them to him, and just wanted to speak to him one more time, and make sure that they had that experience too, because he's really nice and just really cool and seemed genuinely excited to be there and enjoying the experience. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's not his last convention, if he's going to do some more, because he seemed to be having a really great time. And but yeah, my interactions with him were all really good and positive for sure. Pat missed half the after party because he was out to dinner with Ken Faree. Wow, that's pretty wild. Thank you, Kelly. I'll tell Sue you love that photo of her. That's awesome. Awesome. Kelly, I'm seeing your comments about the Airbnb. That's awesome. Rode the train. I love that. Really cool. Yeah, it was great seeing you guys out on the tour on Friday, Kelly and Kason. Thank you so much for coming up and saying hi. That was awesome. And all of you guys, I mean, if you're watching, whether you're watching live tonight or you watch this later, um, yeah. Again, apologies if I've not mentioned you tonight, or if I'm forgetting at the moment. But it was, I mean, we knew it would be humbling and somewhat overwhelming because it was 5 years ago in 2018, but man, it was even more so this time. It was so just and gratifying on different levels, and I knew it would be to an extent just from our interactions here. I knew it would be good for all of us, but to say it was better than I imagined, that is an understatement. It was awesome. It was all awesome, and you guys are a huge part of that, as much as everything else I've described tonight. You know, those great interactions with Dig and James and Rowan and Malik and just all of that. You know, you guys are elevated with all of that too. You know what I mean? So, um, thank you for your support here on Monday nights out there in Pasadena, in life, and elsewhere on other social media platforms and what have you. Thank you for all of that. It all counts. It all means so much to us. And yeah, we're just getting going. A lot to talk about, a lot to roll out. And yeah, as the weeks count down to October 31st, we've got all kinds of cool stuff coming here on the channel. Like I said, our next exclusive one-on-one interview is with legendary producer and Mrs. John Carpenter, Sandy King. That's right, one-on-one. We talked. We talk about the new series, John Carpenter's Suburban Screams. Uh, I asked her if she had to twist his arm to give him to direct. You'll hear her response. I asked what Halloween night is like at Sandy and John's house, and I think you're gonna love what she describes. I know I did, and she gave me just some great fun family stories related to the Halloween holiday itself, which I never heard her talk about before. So I'm very proud of that and excited to share that with you tomorrow. So look for that. Another interview I haven't publicized yet, haven't even announced publicly yet, but I'll tell you guys. Um, Another movie that I love from earlier this year. It's called Cobweb. It's a really good Halloween horror movie. The director Samuel Bowden has a very strong Carpenter-esque vibe to him, if you ask me. I've interviewed Samuel. Check that out. I also, just a few days ago, had the pleasure of interviewing the actress and the stunt performer who plays the character known as the girl in the film. She's basically, spoiler alert, but the creature, the practical creature in Cobweb. And her name is Alex Dragova. And I talked to her all the way. We're here in Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. She's all the way over in Bulgaria. We had a great conversation last week all about the making of Cobweb, playing a really spooky, creepy, I think soon to be iconic character for an awesome Halloween movie that I think people are going to be discovering for years and liking. So that's coming up very soon on the channel. Like I said, we did make it out to Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights. That's coming up on the channel. We made it into all 8 houses, including the Exorcist house, the Stranger Things house, uh, the Last of Us house, the Chucky house. We did them all. Keep watching. That's all coming your way. Our full footage from the Friday Horrors Hallowed Grounds bus tour. Lots more from the Myers house, from the Strode house, from all of the different locations we went to. We got tons of good stuff. That's coming your way. We've got panel reports. The John Carpenter panel is up, but we've got more coming, like I said, from Malik's panel, from the Men of Myers panel, which had, I think, probably about 10 or 12 of the Michael Myers actors all up there at once. We've got footage from the 78 panel, of course. more footage than the Tommy clip that we showed, and some great stuff coming from the H3 panel, but also from the Rob Zombies Halloween panel and from the most recent trilogy panel, which has some awesome stuff as well. So all of that good stuff coming over the coming days and weeks here on the HDN YouTube channel, in addition to any other breaking news that might happen between now and Halloween day itself. So you don't want to miss any of that. I can't thank you guys enough. It was awesome seeing all you guys out there. Yeah, I'm just going to be talking about it for the next 5 years because I've been talking about 2018 for the last 5 years. So get used to it. I'm going to be talking about it for the next 5 years. But now you guys are part of that conversation because it's something we can all share. And those of you that weren't there, I know you're going to be out there for the 50th. And I appreciate you enjoying living vicariously through us and enjoying it because that's what I did when I saw the 25th and the 30th and 35th happen. So I get it. All right, guys, it is after midnight. I'm gonna get out of here. We've been doing this for almost 2 hours. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for participating. Thank you for subscribing. All that good stuff. You guys are awesome. We love you guys. Yeah, Sue, maybe she'll come back in and pop in some other times. You guys seem to really appreciate that and like that, and yeah, so maybe we'll do that some more. That was fun. So thank you for that. Thank you for your kind words as always. You guys rock. And until the next one, I'm Matt Arts for Halloween Daily News, for Sue Arts as well, and for Oziah. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your support. Thank you for being yourselves, your awesome selves. You guys rock. You kick ass. You're killer, like Michael. Yeah, you guys rule. We love you. Happy Michael Myers Monday, everybody.